Howdy, folks. This is Tony here, and I am so disappointed in the Republican senators at the national level that honestly, I'm not even going to vote in the 2022 election. I'm going to stay home that day because, in all honesty, there's really no difference between the Democrats and Republicans. One wants to deprive you of your rights quickly, the other one wants to do so slowly. I'm not seeing a substantial difference at this point. And the reason I say that is because here's the thing. I believe that the government should be as limited as possible and that the people should be as free as possible. I do not believe in a strong federal government that's all in your business, all in your pocketbook, all in your house, trying to take away your right to keep and bear arms, trying to take away your freedoms. I don't believe in that. So because I have more conservative values, I tend to vote Republican when it's possible. When I feel like the Republican candidate is good enough, I'll hold my nose and vote for that person. However, that does not mean that my vote is a guarantee. That doesn't mean that my vote should be taken for granted. And have you seen this gun legislation that the Senate, Republicans included, are signing off on? It is horrendous. First of all, there are two glaring problems with it. Number one, they want to give $100 million to raise FBI salaries. Those guys already make pretty good salaries. What about the people that are struggling to pay their bills? What about the people that are struggling to make rent or struggling to afford gas money? During a time where our country is being wiped out because of bad economic policies from Joe Biden and being wiped out because of, having to give resources to Ukraine or whatever, you want to take what little money we have left and give it to fat cats in Washington who are already pretty well off? That's ridiculous. All that's going to do is just reward your buddies, but leave the rest of us behind. That's a big problem. And the second thing is, let me explain to you why a red flag law is bad. So, if a person that does not like you wishes to have you swatted, all that person that does not like you has to do is go to a judge. The judge can decide without you being there that you're a bad guy, and then they kick down your door and confiscate all your guns. This is a horrible law because all it does, here's why this law is so bad. Number one, it violates your Fourth Amendment right against unreasonable search and seizure. It also violates your right to due process because if you're having people accuse you in front of a judge and you don't have the right to be there to defend yourself, big problem. Not to mention, this is not a regular criminal trial where the state will give you a lawyer, where you have the right to an attorney. In this case, you don't have a right to an attorney. So only the uber rich people would be able to afford to defend themselves from something like this. And to make matters worse is, if you have served our country in the military and you come away with a little bit of PTSD or you come away with some kind of trauma because of what you saw out in the battlefield, then they're going to say, oh, well, you're a target. You're the one we're going to red flag. And they're going to take away your rights. So basically, you have Republican senators like, what is it? John Cornyn, Tom Tillis, Mitt Romney, Susan Collins. You have people like this that are basically saying, oh, you young men who have served our country, nuts to you, because when you get home, unless you're rich, you're going to have your guns taken away, and we're going to make your tax dollars fund the FBI, who's probably going to be used to take your guns away. So help me understand why I should vote for a party that is going to betray me like this. Help me, and I'm not a veteran. I'm just saying I feel as though we as an American people in general are being betrayed. Help me understand just why. Why should I vote for them? If we give Republicans back Congress and they've shown their willingness to sign on, what stops them? Oh, if you vote for the Republicans, they're going to stop Joe Biden's agenda. No, they're not. They're just going to let Joe Biden do whatever he wants, just like they are right now. Because if with 50-50 in the Senate, they can't even hold the line, why give them back Congress? Because notice, the last time they had Congress, which was under the first 2 years of Trump, we didn't get national concealed carry. We didn't get any of these kinds of things. All that basically, Obamacare stayed in place. All that basically happened was the status quo maintained. So here's the thing. You lose ground under Democrats. Then Republicans hold line and you don't lose any more ground. Then you lose ground under Democrats again. Republicans don't gain any ground back. They just hold the line at where you've already lost. You lose ground under Democrats again, and now this time Republican senators will help you lose even more ground. I don't see why to show up in November.